Welcome to the Courthouse Bay Chapel Weekly Recap. My name is Chris, and I'm the chaplain assigned to the Marine Corps Engineering School at Courthouse Bay, Camp Lejeune. And every week we do a recap of what we've been talking about in chapel as we go through the Gospel of Mark. No such thing as a throwaway relationship in God's eyes. Let's get into it. Mark chapter 10. Jesus then left that place and went into the region of Judea, across from the Jordan. Again, crowds of people came to him, and as was his custom, he taught them. Some Pharisees came and tested him by asking, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" "What did Moses command you?" he replied. They said, "Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and send her away." "It was because your hearts were hard that Moses wrote you this law," Jesus replied. "But at the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one. Therefore, what God has joined together, let man not separate." When they were in the house again, the disciples asked Jesus about this. He answered, "Anyone who divorces his wife and marries another woman commits adultery against her. And if she divorces her husband and marries another man, she commits adultery." I understand that this is a hard text, especially in a world where we believe that when things get hard, we can just throw in the towel. I have actually seen counselors on social media advising people, when you become unhappy or dissatisfied with your marriage, quit, divorce, and move on to something new. And that's not the ideal that God sets out. You see, in God's perspective, there's no such thing as a throwaway relationship. Now, sadly, this is a sinful, broken, and hurting world, and divorce does happen. And the Bible recognizes that, which is why Jesus even acknowledged Moses permitted divorce because of the hardness of people's hearts. But that's not God's ideal. That's not how it was designed to be. You see, marriage is supposed to be a lasting covenant that is very similar to the covenant God has with us. And in the same way that God sticks with us and doesn't give up on us, we are supposed to stick with our partners, to be committed to our partners. The Marine Corps has an expression, the motto, that says Semper Fidelis, always faithful. And that's a good understanding of what the marriage relationship is supposed to be like. For better or for worse. For richer or for poorer. In sickness and in health. You see, we used to understand that in the good times and the bad times, marriages are supposed to stick together. Now, we understand that sometimes life doesn't work out that way. And if you are in a divorce or have been divorced, you need to understand that this does not separate you from the love of God. It is not an unforgivable sin, and sometimes the reality of this world is that divorce happens, but God still loves you. But we can still understand that the reality of divorce does not mean that that is where God's heart is, because God's heart is that there's no such thing as throwaway people and no such thing as throwaway relationships. We are designed to be thriving in relationships and committed to one another. So my encouragement to you today is that you be able to be faithful to your partner, to be committed to your partner in the good times and the bad. And sometimes when things get tough, we stick with it. And when things get so bad that it becomes unbearable, that still won't separate you from the love of God. Have a great day and have a great week.